Hi everybody, my name is Olympia Barca and I am here today to talk to you about my passion, which is using the science of yoga as a way to help people in need. In my previous project on the nervous system, I covered the benefits we can accumulate from yoga in cases of anxiety, stress, depression, which are all very common situations, especially lately with the pandemic not doing us any favors, right? So we have all struggled with these emotions at some point of our life or another, and I'm pretty sure that most people could relate to that. Today, I am here to take it one step further and touch on a subject that many people choose to ignore or disregard, and this is refugees. People that have been forcibly displaced, people that have experienced war, violence, and or loss we cannot even begin to imagine, and who somehow ended up in a foreign country not living, I think the best word here is surviving. They are surviving in minimal conditions, most of the times even struggling with basic necessities, and who not only feel stressed or depressed, but they have experienced trauma. So today I want to explore how we can use yoga as a stress relief tool for forcibly displaced people in order to help them, even if it's just a tiny bit, to breathe, connect with themselves, and feel just a little bit calmer and just a little bit safer. Please note that as the subject is quite multi-leveled, I will not touch any political implications, as I do not want to be the reason of any controversy or argument or whatever. Everyone is entitled on their own opinion, and opinions on this subject vary dramatically. So I am not examining how, why, in which way these people got to the places they currently live in, or any other parameter. I only look to this subject through a humanitarian scope, okay? As a human being that feels empathy for another human being and wonders, now that these people are here trying to survive. Either this is for a small amount of time or trying to build a new home, it really doesn't matter, but now that they are here, what can we do to help them? So firstly, I would like to share some facts about refugees globally and specifically in my country, Greece. And since this is a very controversial issue, please, when researching on your own, do so responsibly. I think it goes without saying that today, with all the information that there is available online, we must be very, very wary of who we trust to educate us. So the following facts and information come from sources such as the European Commission, the International Organization for Migration, Amnesty International, UNICEF, International Rescue Committee, and the United Nations Refugee Agency. So what happens globally? According to the fact sheet that you will see here from the United Nations Refugee Agency, you will see that at the end of 2019, there were approximately 80 million of forcibly displaced people worldwide. That was 1% of the world's population, and this is a figure that has, of course, went up. Out of all of them, the tragic is that 40% of all these people are children. I will just let it sink in for a couple of moments. So, out of all these people, 73% are hosted in neighboring countries. This is the reason why you will see that Turkey, Colombia, Pakistan, and Uganda are 4 of the top hosting countries, and 68% come from the same 5 countries, which are Syria, Venezuela, Afghanistan, South Sudan, and Myanmar. I will not go through all the information here. You can pause the video and check them out. I will just go through the photos very quickly. On the top left, we have Venezuelan refugees enter Colombia. You can see the sign behind them that says Bienvenidos a Colombia. The people flee Venezuela every day. And then on the top right, you will see Congolese refugees in a camp in Uganda waiting for food. And on the bottom, you will see Rohingya people on homemade rafts trying to flee Myanmar and reach Bangladesh. So let's move on to the current situation in Greece. So Greece has been receiving refugees for many, many years now, though the last decade, actually less than a decade, the number has increased almost 100%. Most of the people arrive by sea, as you will see in the photo and in the diagram. The deep blue color is the sea arrivals. So you will see it's the vast majority of them. And I have also included a map on the left bottom that you can see the arrivals in the different European Mediterranean countries of Greece, Italy, and Spain. So Greece, the figure is approximately 400,000 people, Italy 131, Malta is 100, and around 3,000 in Spain. And there is a second number for each country in gray with a cross that you have already probably guessed. That's the deaths, that's the refugees that died either trying to get to their respective country or after they arrived there. So in Greece, most refugees come from the countries of Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, the Republic of Congo, and Palestine, while we also have an increase lately of people that come from Venezuela. So moving on specifically, I would like to see a little bit about forcibly displaced children. 1/3 of all forcibly displaced people that arrive in Greece are children, and out of them, 60% are below the age of 12. More than 60% of all children that arrive in Greece are either unaccompanied or separated. You will see also here there are some numbers as of the end of March of 2020 regarding unaccompanied children in Greece. They are more than 5,000. A lot of them live in shelters and supporting independent living. A lot of them are in reception and identification centers. You will see that most of these are on islands. This is because on the borders with Turkey, there are lots of islands, and this is a major entry point. But you will also notice that there are a lot of them in insecure housing, which means that some of them could also be homeless. So, moving on from the facts, let's see how we can help. First, let's see what are some of the yoga benefits that based on research. Among others, yoga decreases anxiety, improves and stabilizes mood, promotes self-acceptance, reduces stress, decreases depression, helps face and deal with fear, helps deal with trauma, decreases hostility, improves sleep quality, improves breathing, and promotes relaxation. I believe that most of you will agree that any human being could benefit from this, but especially a person that is going through what a refugee is going through at the moment. I would also like to quote Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, a renowned trauma expert who has spent over 3 decades working with survivors, who said that yoga attends to the body and the breath and attends to the stillness. It allows you to feel everything you feel, to tolerate every sensation, and to live and move with it. He is the author of The Body Keeps the Score, which is a great book about the mind, body, and body in the transformation of trauma. And if this is a subject that interests you at all, then I would highly recommend reading his book because it's full with very valuable information and insights. So now let's see some testimonials from trauma survivors and their personal experiences with yoga. So you will see that even if we leave the research, the scientific research aside, these people actually had multiple benefits from practicing yoga in their day-to-day lives, which is, to me personally, it's the most important thing, right? So most of the testimonials you will find here are actually from refugees who were introduced to yoga while residing in a shelter or camp. I will not go through all of them, I'll just read 2 or 3 of them, but you can pause the video and read them on your own pace. So one person says, "At first I felt alone, but then I felt the support of my friends in the yoga circle. I didn't feel alone, I felt love." Another person says, "I was able to move my body and be in my body in a safe place and without hurting myself or getting hurt." And then another person, this is actually from a shelter here in Greece, said that yoga is good for mind. When you do yoga, you forget about all your problems. It is also good for your body. It is also good for your health. It also helps me to sleep. If we have a problem in the mind, it goes away. All Yazidis have problems in the mind. So she meant to say that it could be helpful for all of your tribe. So let's see what we can actually do to help. So first things first, get involved. We must reach to our local non-profit organizations, educate ourselves of their work with the refugees and see how we can help. And actually it doesn't even have to be local, right? It can be anywhere in the world. I just said local because we tend to prioritize our own community. And also lately it's been difficult to travel due to pandemics. So it's been quite challenging. It can be anywhere that you want. Some camps and shelters already have sports or dance, arts, yoga and other activities implemented to the daily schedule. So the people that are residing there can pass their time creatively and socialize and obtain new skills. But even if they don't have such programs yet, you can still contact them and discuss about adding a yoga class. So, after reaching an agreement with a non-profit organization of your choice or applying as a volunteer for an already existing yoga program, the next thing to do is learn who we will be teaching. For example, we want to create a different class if we teach children than if we teach adults. And then we can start building our classes. So our classes must be created bearing in mind that out of all of the people that we will teach, if not all of them, then most of them may have never practiced yoga before, may have a really hard time concentrating, especially if they're new arrivals and still settling in, may not be able to communicate with us in any language that we know, so verbal cues might not work, and they may be very exhausted, both physically and mentally, which is a sign of trauma. So we need to create classes that are not too long, have asanas that are easy for complete beginners to follow up, even with a language barrier, but at the same time will still be enjoyed by someone that has possibly practiced before. The classes should also not be very physically demanding, and we should make sure we establish a sense of safety and support. This is very important with people suffering with trauma or these kind of conditions that we will face with refugees. Okay, we should overall promote calmness, relaxation, and positivity. And most of all, we must be willing to get out of our comfort zone, teach in a different way than what we are used to. So, for example, use body language and hand gestures to help explain things during the class, and approach these people with love and compassion, serving them as best as we possibly can. So with all this in mind, I have created a short yoga class. Please come join me and let me know what you think of it. And before I go, I want to say thank you for joining for this presentation. You will find links for further reading and nonprofit organizations on the description section below. And if anything in this presentation, any of the facts that I shared, or the photos, or any of my personal thoughts touched you, I urge you to research the refugee situation in your country. Find out what is going on in depth, not just superficially, and see if there is anything you can do to help. Even a little thing goes a long way, and remember, these are people struggling with basic necessities. So if you can offer a few clothes or some food or a little of your time, please do so. You will be amazed at what you will receive back. Thank you once more for being here. I will be waiting for you in the class. Namaste.